Hey everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Bozmos2, where we are playing Chaco. This is turn 26. Jump into things. Okay, so we have construction 1 completed. We are on our way up to construction 2, very close to completed. On the Throne of Thorns has been captured. Throne of Earth has been captured. Let's go ahead and actually take a look at those real quick, because I keep forgetting to. So, we've got the Throne of Earth here. Looks like this is captured by this. So, if kind of a mixed bag here. When playing, normally there's a big old banner of flags down here, and apparently in the right circumstances you can hover over the banner and tell which nation is which. Rather than having to go hunt through, but that banner doesn't always work, and it causes a lot of meh stuff. It looks pretty ugly, so I have that banner turned off. So that means I have to go like hunt and peck for all of this every single time. Looks like it's this one. I love It's Middle Satis. Which Satis is our Satis? Yeah, ours is New Satis. Okay, Middle Satis. Gotcha. Alright, cool. So Middle Satis somewhere has taken the Throne of the Earth, which is a pretty damn good throne, right? An Earth Gem as a base, and then when it's claimed, it produces another Earth Gem. Spreads Dominion 2, gives Reinvigoration. Reinvigoration is always good. Gives Earth Ritual range an increase by 1, which is decent sometimes. And then you get gnomes, which are pretty damn good if you don't have good access to earth or nature, right? Because 2 in either is pretty decent enough to boost up into a good amount. So for example, if you need this gnome, you don't have a lot of nature, you can use this to give him like a by Pistol Mace. He's Nature 3. He can use Strength of Gaia, boost up to Nature 4 in battle. And then with Nature 4, he can do most things, right? Pretty much. Same thing kind of with Earth. If you need that, you can give some Earth Boots. Summon Earth Power. He's Earth 4. That'll get you most Earth things. Gnomes are pretty damn decent. So that was the Throne of Earth. The next up is the Throne of Thorns. And this looks like this has been picked up by Xibalba. I think that's just regular Xibalba. This is old Xibalba, apparently. Okay. Late age Xibalba. And they have gotten the Throne of Thorns, which is Dominion 1, Poison Resistance 10, and Nature 2. Now this is kind of meh, unless you don't have Poison Resistance and you need Poison Resistance, in which case it's really fucking good. Like for us, I would be very excited to get this, because that would mean that the vast majority of our forces, I said vast majority, that are Katsina stuff, doesn't need to really worry about poisoning, which we currently do, actually. And then other thrones, I know we missed the Throne of War. This is a great throne for any sacred-based nation that has to worry about basically attacking, which is 99% of them. Spreads Dominion, gives attack skill +1 and morale +1. Would love to have it. And we missed another one, but I don't remember what it was. It was like the Throne of Spring or Ice or something. I don't know. I'll try to do a better job of doing that each turn. Anyways, moving on. We did some site searching and scrawl point. Very light site searching this turn. Like I said, our site searching is really pared down. We still got a little bit more to do, but it's significantly less fervent about it. We have witnessed a couple of little things here or there. We've witnessed a battle between Foray Flegra and Old Man. Cool. Fuck, I love these things. Fucking Mouflon Cavalry. Like, these things are so cool. Goat Cab! Alright, what's he up against? Just province defense. This should be no issue. These guys are pretty well protected, pretty high defense skill, good attack skill, good damage, bunch of attacks. I wonder if they're actually if he's got like a bless. Looks like not really. So it looks like he's basically just using probably like a scales Phlegra. Ugh. Scary. Scales Mouflons. Very scary. Alright, so 4A Phlegra is attacking Old Man. Cool. We'd love to get in on that action. Maybe we will have a chance. Who knows? We attacked into On Remark. Bunch of barbarians against a large horde of mostly animals. Pretty decent amount of withering fire there. We're gonna chop up a whole bunch of deer and then get routed. Be my assumption. Yep. Nice. Looks like we did some damage there though. Routed the deer, killed a fair number of them. See what we got. Lost 22, which is great. Like we wanted all these people dead. We did not want to keep them, and we killed 32 deer, 17 boar. Whittled down this a little bit. Not bad. I would actually feel relatively confident about sending like a geared out Booyah into here, maybe. That'd be probably okay. What else do we got? Especially if I could get them like a flesh. Those called flesh, carver, flesh. The Berserker Axe. And then we witnessed a battle between and this is actually somewhat interesting. So we witnessed a battle between Urmor and Finoscandia. And Finoscandia is actually bringing off... I would assume this is probably most of what Finoscandia has, right? With the number of trolls we've got here, and the number of, mostly just trolls. Mostly the number of fucking tussers and trolls that he's got here. I would assume that this is most of what Finoscandia has. This looks like me combining like all of my Katsinas and hurling them at someone with one army. So this seems about right? Versus what Urmor has. And here's the thing, right? Like Urmor, mid game, late game, terrifying. Crazy scary magic, flooding the field. But early game Urmor is basically just a lot of undead chaff. Now the Unholy Blessing comes down, and we've got the Morale +1 regeneration, undead regeneration, Blood Vengeance. Okay. Which I actually write down. I keep forgetting to write that one down. I've written down most of them, but not that one. Morale 1's base. Regeneration, undead regeneration. Blood Vengeance. So, his bless comes down, right? But his sacred units are his Knights of the Unholy Sepulchre, right? He didn't really have any mages on the field to take advantage of this. He doesn't really have a bunch of censors to take advantage of this. He's got a couple, right? Those. Yeah, these guys back here are just spamming Wind of Memories. These guys are spamming Sermons of Courage. They probably should be spamming some Winds of Memories. They probably will once they get up. So the lines met, and now it's like, does the Undead Horde win? Or does Regeneration give out? And there's this section that's like right through the Knights of the Unholy Sepulchre, so they're all fighting in here. Yep. Got this big bow here. But it just looks like Regeneration means that they're not slowly crushed, and all of the, I mean, this guy brought a fair number, not a fair number. A fair number. This guy brought a fair number. These Gonagas are priest twos. He brought a fair number of priests to this fight. That matters. So Finoscandia won. Urmor just lost a huge army. 374. Now, of course, that's the thing. Urmor is Urmor. They lose massive armies. But Urmor is getting pressured by a number of different things. A number of different nations. And Finoscandia is probably one of the smallest ones. To get hit like that, that's, oof. That hurts. Now, Finoscandia loses what? Bear Warriors, okay. Finithai Warriors, okay, fine, whatever. Heavy Infantries, whatever. Long Deads, absolutely don't care. In fact, the majority of what they lost were Long Dead Chaff summoned. Okay. Mountain Sami Warriors, doesn't look like I would care there. Sea Sami Warriors lost a fair number of these. These sail, but they're not super expensive. The big deal is how many trolls did they lose? Because trolls, trolls did 49 kills, 42 kills on the Tussers. Obviously, the majority of the kills go to his priests because they're doing banishments, right? But these trolls and Tussers also did a number, and the trolls and Tussers held the line, right? 9 trolls lost, 4 Tussers lost. Because too much regeneration, right? 2 of these beefy boys in a square through it. The Tussers, 2 of the Tussers with such high protection, right? It's incredibly hard for Long Dead to get through. Holy shit. This is a big blow to Urmor. Now, if it was just Urmor versus Finoscandia, I would actually give Urmor the edge here, right? Because Urmor is Urmor. They can continue to just unleash hell by raising these 300 plus armies every couple turns and sending them at Finoscandia repeatedly. Whereas Finoscandia is not going to be able to do that very easily. But with Urmor being beset by multiple people, that's the thing, I think. If Urmor's being beset by multiple people, then this is going to be way harder for Urmor. The problem is I don't think Urmor's really being beset by too many people at this point. I could be wrong. It's a hard situation to read. So, it was Yis, Basia, and fighting Urmor, Therados, and Lemuria, right? Well, got real antsy and got arsy and attacked multiple people. From what I'm just paraphrasing from what I've heard of the situations, so I could be wrong about stuff. And it looks like is now losing against Lemuria, and is also in a war against Marverni, and maybe also getting attacked by Dom Danielle, right? So that's all a big problem. Basia seems to be doing okay, hitting Urmor repeatedly, but they're not doing very well against Lemuria. right? And Yis was doing well against Urmor and Lemuria, I believe, but now has kind of been blunted by Therados and not defeated, but thrown back, I believe. So, so it's kind of rough. I still think that me not trying to kill the undeads is probably a horrible plan. But we got more stuff to talk about. This is really interesting. It's cool to watch these types of battles. If I were to have a battle against any of these, against either of these armies, right? Obviously, assuming that I was throwing together something of comparable size, maybe not quite as large an army, but with the intent to fight said armies, right? I think my Katsinas, 30 or so Katsinas up against Urmor in a line would do just fine, right? Vine Shield, basically trolls with Vine Shields and Repel, right? Like, they've got length 2 great clubs. My guys are gonna have length 3 spears, so not gonna be worthwhile against some of these, but against a lot of the others, they'll do just fine, right? Long deads normally only have a length 1, so well, it's not gonna repel. Yeah, never mind. But ignore that. So we don't have to worry about repelling, but Vine Shield, Temper Flesh, Regeneration, that all still works. I think we do fairly well against Urmor. The issue would be what else we brought to the mix, right? Like if I brought a handful of Wuyas, probably do pretty well, right? Pretty decent banishments, bunch of priests, etc. That'd be fine. But if all I had to really bring was like Star Priest or something like that, that's not really going to do anything. Or the scenario of like, do I have to field more of an army that is like Chacoan elite warriors or whatchamacallit, archers, Chacoan archers? Not going to do a very good job against Urmor unless I have something like flaming arrows up, right? That kind of changes the mix quite a bit. But against Finiscandia, I feel like it's kind of a very different beast, right? My star priests would do way better there, being able to communion up and mind burn people would do pretty good. I think my Katsinas would still do just fine, but actually going up against the Tussers would be somewhat dangerous, right? Fortunately, they don't have a magical weapon, so my invulnerability still kicks in, but they hit really hard, so they could potentially pop my Katsinas without having a chance to, actually do anything. We could repel them, we still have Vine Shields, etc., but I think it would be interesting. I think we could win a fight against either one of these armies with a comparative army, but it would be questionable, right? But that's kind of cool. I like seeing those battles and sussing things out from there. Anyways, moving on. We have a huge barbarian horde is attacked in Smacia. We were prepared for that. Huge barbarian horde attacked in Dolmen. We were prepared for that. Water gems in Talito, +1, cool. And then we had a group of people worshipping False Pretender in Dardania. Blossom Dominion, gains of unrest. The Necromancer has sucked the life force from a whole land. Strengthened by this unwholesome power, he may rise to challenge the gods. I do not know what this event is. It's continuing to occur. I don't know what it is. I might have to look it up. So, we got some battles. We witnessed a battle in Ablak. Aha! Knights. Knights have attacked Ind. So. Knights come in. Mollywop Ind's PD here. Easy peasy. Cool. Then we get attacked by barbarians in Smacia. So Smacia is where we had less of an army, but more of a PD. But this is kind of dicey, right? We only have maybe like 14 or so elite warriors and maybe 14 or so archers here. There's a few more archers with the PD, and then there's also a fair little chunk of Chacoan spear warriors, but the spear warriors are just gonna die against the barbarians. Hopefully they blunt them. So we're basically hoping we kill enough at ranged to fuck them up. A couple wounded and a couple popped, but not a lot. Yeah, we just got a handful there. Blunting the... no real good throws. Oh, this is so ugly. Oh, okay. Oh, God, immediately pop. Oh, no. Hey! Thank goodness for horrible barbarian morale. And actually pretty decent morale for our Chacona Elite Warriors, at least in friendly. Well, I mean, basic morale of 13 is actually pretty good, but friendly bonus, squad bonus, home province, 16 morale, that's pretty easy to stick with. Yeah. Pretty easy. So how did they perform? They got... We lost 2 elite warriors, 14, PD, whatever. So not too bad, actually. Cool. And then we get attacked in Dolmen. Alright, so similar scenario, except less PD here and larger army here. So let's see how this works out. So we've got way more in the way of archers, and it shows. We killed like 4 or 5 people there already. Withering them down quite a bit comparatively. Oof, yeah. Hail of axes come out, does decent damage. Oh, the closer they get, the deadlier our aim. I love it. Very good. We are going to lose some people, obviously, but as we close ranks, we do okay. We have our elite warriors have a decent little amount of defense, right? So we're able to dodge some of the attacks. And these, I'm going to throw this out there, these barbarians take way longer to rout than the previous barbarians. Like, they lost way more to this group than to the other group before they decided to rout. So that's kind of interesting. Because we did way more damage initially, but we actually lost more here because we had less PD blocking. Because the heavy infantries and light infantries never actually got around our big line, which is my own fault. But we did work. Our archers and elite warriors actually did work there. That was pretty good. So, we had a couple little battles, successful, good. Finished Fortress and Vanguard, cool. What are we doing this turn? So, actually, our decision has been made for us this turn. We are at war with Ind. We've also witnessed the fact that Phlegra and Kangobia are attacking Old Man. I do hope to get involved in this action. At the very least, I would like to take Assad and Pestina. But we are going to have to focus on Ind for now, because Ind sent me a message saying that it had been a very lazy game, which I get. Yeah, that's fair. And that they really got only one neighbor, and that's me. Time to go to war. So that's fair. Gotcha. Fortunately, we talked about this earlier, right? Like, and I'm glad this is my style of play, and that I am willing to communicate with people and everything like that, because Ind absolutely is under the assumption that we have a nap. I would argue, if we went back and look at the discussion on Discord, I would argue that we don't have a nap, because no one ever actually agreed and said, we have a nap 3. It was just, would we like a nap? Yeah, a nap would be cool. We're okay with the nap, etc. I don't think we need a nap. That whole thing. But regardless, again, that's why I was saying earlier on, right? Like, I wouldn't attack Ind without verifying that information with them. right? Especially in the scenario of there's so many different people in this game, so many potential different nationalities and potential language barriers and things like that. I think from a community standpoint that it is always, always, always better for the community to just be upfront and open about, you know, hey, do we have a nap? No? Okay. We're declaring war. Yes? Okay, the nap is over in 3 turns, you know. So. Anyways. So that being said, we have to prepare for a war with end. Turn 29 is when attacks can be made. So turn 26, 27, 28, 3-turn nap. 29 is when first attacks can be made. So we know In's Bless, right? In's Bless is morale 1, attacks, now specifically morale 1, right? It's an additional +1 morale, not just morale 1. It's morale 2, right? Attack skill 2, magic weapons, cold resistance 5, defense skill 2, undying 6, blood surge. So kind of a all over the place bless, right? Cold resistance doesn't really matter to me too terribly much. Attack skill and defense skill, sure, great, fine. Blood surge, obviously, if he's killing things, that's going to be a problem. Undying makes him harder to kill, great. And magic weapons is, of course, a legitimately an issue because magic weapons means that he ignores my Wuya's or Katsina's invulnerability, right? So there is that. But realistically, that bless in and of itself is not an overly crazy bless. And there's nothing really in that bless that means that we need to prepare for that bless. Okay? So, we're not really changing up anything that we're doing terribly much, except for we are now focusing on this northern border of ours, right? We are starting up a fortified village in Jereb. It will be done basically just in time. Well, I say that, honestly, it's not gonna be done. We started at this turn, right? We've got next turn. What? Yeah, it'll be done in time on the turn attacks can be made, but if he attacks that province, it'll be smashed. You know what? That's a good point. Probably don't want to spend the coin here then. We've basically missed our window for that. And that's okay. That's fine. Yeah. So let's not do that. Let's just defend that province. Is there a different place where I feel like I want to put a fort up here, actually. Hold. And if we did that this turn, it can't get hit on the turn. Unless he's got raiders, which is entirely possible. We'll go with that. That's fine. Fortified village going up there. So movement-wise, all of the movements are basically just moving people into position. We were going to move this force over towards High Peaks with the intention of going towards Pistina. But we're just going to move towards Smacia now, reinforce that location. We already had Wuya 6 heading up towards Ablak anyways, bringing the forces from Dolmen, all of that stuff over to Ablak. We should have a decently sized army up there. We have forces from Wuya 1 in Zaburia. So this is going to be a pretty decently sized force. And probably what we're going to do is so this is turn 26, 27, 28. So on 27 we will go and late spring. The cold is kind of fucking me over here. So this will be 27, 28, 29. So we're going to take some Katsinas to reinforce over here. Probably what we're gonna do is throw a. I say that. Take all of these. Why wouldn't we? Probably what we're gonna do is try to throw a decently sized army at Ashington. Pretty early on, we'll have a force at Smacia to try to work with as well. And then we will probably work up from Ablak. So we've got forces. The main forces probably, our Katsinas are the main units that we're going to be utilizing in any particular battle. But the plan will be trying to field small communions of Chacoan Star Priests, right? Probably either communion size 2 to be able to mind burn with 4 to 6 people. That's probably going to burn out a small communion like that, though. So we have to be pretty careful about that. We might also go with something more stable depending on how large we think the battle is. Maybe a communion of 4 and then 2 mind burners. I don't know. We'll see. We've got options. That's really it, though. Like, recruitment-wise is all focused on that. Getting more Star Priests on the borders. Star Priests here. More Chacoan elites. More Chacoan archers. More Katsinas, finishing up Uwuya, putting a temple up in High Peaks. We've got our god going back to Chaco. Our god's probably going to be very instrumental in protecting our lands. We're not going to be able to use him, maybe not initially. So our god is a very useful tool. I want to use him because he's got 1 billion HP, etc., etc. So that kind of directs where we're going with our research. So we've got a fair little chunk of research now, 226. We're going to be able to finish Construction 1 this turn, and then we're going up Alteration. We will be able to finish Alteration 1 in a single turn. We'll be able to do Alteration 2 the next turn. And then the hope Alteration 3 is gonna be harder to get because it's a 400 jump. So I don't think we're gonna be able to do that in that following turn. We might be able to, but it'll probably be the turn after, which means we won't be able to utilize our god super duper quickly. What Alteration 3 gets us is Iron Skin. I really want Temper Flesh though, before I start throwing my god into crazy situations. That being said, right, though, our god is very strong, very high attack skill, but the fighting outside of our dominion is going to greatly weaken our god, right? He's got plus 35 HP while in our dominion, so he's still going to have a fair chunk of HP, but he won't have his base regeneration, he won't have his his Temper Flesh, and he won't have his attack skill. He's still going to be decent though, especially, and with the Stonebird, he should still repel a fair amount. We can personal regeneration him because of our enchantment. And if we get up high enough in Alteration, we can do Iron Skin. Again, I would love to get up high enough to do Temper Flesh is, for me, the big thing. But that might not be on the menu. So, another thing that we're definitely going to be doing come next turn is we're going to be burning through a bunch of magic items, right? I think equipping some of our Wuyas. We're going to have 7 Wuyas at that point, I believe. And that is going to give us the ability to hopefully have a bunch of very strong raiders that we can toss out and that he's going to have a really hard time dealing with, right? He is, you know, growth scales, so they should be pretty strong as far as death power goes. If we can get basic gear on all of them. Right now we already have, you know, Black Steel Helmets, Burning Pearl, Enchanted Spear. I need Stone Birds on all of them. I need Burning Pearls on all of them, or Rings of the Warrior on all of them. I might actually do some shopping with a Blood Nation. Just be like, hey, can I get a bunch of Rings of the Warrior? I would love to have some sort of foot item, but this one might not be that big of a thing. And then having a cheap shield, cheap body armor would be really, really good, right? Because right now we don't have any big thing there. So yeah, that's concern. So that's the other thing, right? That's the other reason why we're going up alteration is Iron Skin isn't only a huge fix for Iron Skin's actually not that big of a deal for our god, but it's a very big deal for our Wuyas, especially if they have some basic armor on themselves, right? Because we can field some all, you know, like we can field some close to 30 protection Wuyas already, right? Just with basic gear. Basic gear and a shield, and then they're going to be able to repel like crazy. They're going to be able to survive like crazy. It basically comes down to the issue is going to be is can they actually like kill things, and that's a question, right? That is a potential issue. Like in a future world, you know, putting instead of a spear on them when they have the stone bird, right? We have to worry less about them being repelling with the spear, which means that then they can do something like an AoE sword, right? Which is good. So. Trying to think if there's anything else that we need to really talk about. Though the world continues. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. Excited to be in a war in the very near future. I don't know that we're gonna do well with End. I have, you know, we've already talked to Atlantis about this. I've apprised Atlantis of the situation. I anticipate. I think Atlantis is probably gonna try to take as many of these islands from Finascandia as they can. Right, because they're worried that, you know, Urmor is going to eat the shit out of them, which I think is another reason why in the long run Finascandia is going to lose to Urmor, because hey, I didn't realize that we've pushed into Altgold. Cool. But yeah, I think that's another reason why Finascandia is probably going to lose to Urmor, because they're going to lose their islands to Atlantis. Atlantis is, you know, going to be afraid that Urmor is going to take all that. And then, you know, Finascandia is going to have that much less resource to resist with. So, kind of is what it is. Alright, anyways, that's going to be the end of the turn. Excited to see how things go in the near future. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye, everybody.